Brace yourself. It's that time again. Welcome to Unfiltered. As you can see, I don't have the beautiful Alethea with me today. I've got Randy Filio. Now I wanted to bring Randy on tonight because after our first little bit of news and the crew call and stuff, Randy and I are going to talk about what it's been like to be members of Cheshire TV and have the shows. Of course, No Spin was the first show that was on Channel 8, followed by Unfiltered a few weeks later. And I don't know, in my eyes, we're the ones that are losing the most.
Well, we're still here.
We're still here. And we've got our fingers crossed.
Yes, we do.
And I know we've got a lot of religious programming on the air, and all those people are praying, I'm sure, that things work out. So,
Yeah.
But I figured we could talk about the human element. People have been bombarded with figures and percentages and this. And let's talk about the people involved.
Absolutely.
But the big news this week were the elections.
Yeah.
And I know you and Chris are going to probably give the complete rundown tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit in depth. But
why don't you give us just like maybe the top winners of the big races?
Yeah, well, obviously, Dale Pregent took to the mayor spot.
Right.
And did a good job with a quiet campaign. It goes to show sometimes you don't have to make all the noise to win.
Of course, he did have a show on Channel 8.
Well, that's a good point.
Whether that had any influence.
So did I. It didn't work. No, he did a good job. I think one thing that came out of it, I think disappointed a lot of us involved, was that only 23% of the voters voted.
That was what I couldn't understand, because I was delivering Tuesday night, so I was listening to the results on the radio.
Yep.
And the numbers were just, I couldn't believe it. Of all the talk about democracy and freedom and the right to vote, that little turnout.
Yeah. When you look at it the other way, 77% of the people didn't vote.
Right.
77% when you look at it the other way. And the disappointing part is when you look at some of these third world countries, I mean, they crawl to the polls while they're getting shot at, so they can go in and do their vote. And but you're right. Here all year long, and obviously people make a lot of noise when they're not happy. It's like, we need change. We've got to do this. We've got to put people in. It's like, time to vote. I got a show on tonight.
Right. Yeah.
And it's disappointing for a lot of people that were involved. And a lot of people put their heart and soul into it, do a lot of door-to-dooring, spend many hours of their own time and money. And then you find out 77% said, I'm not going to bother voting. So
just the signs alone must cost a fortune.
It can get expensive. But, at least, from looking down at the people that got involved, you have to applaud them for getting involved.
Right.
And the names that are here that get elected are all good people. And I have no doubt at all that it'll wind up being, the mayor will do a good job in the end.
Right.
I think the council's going to do a good job. A couple of returning veterans, which really helps keep things stable. Yep. And all in all, I think it'll be good. But we're fortunate that good people ran, because when people aren't going out and getting involved and at least voting, 4 out of 5 wards ran unopposed. And you stand a chance of really having anybody. You put your name on the line and you're in. And we're fortunate that the people that put their name on the line are good people.
Right. And of course, Dale Pregent, I grew up in the same neighborhood that he lived in. He's been living in the same house for 45 years now.
Yeah, good name recognition. A lot of people knew him. Didn't really carry a lot of negatives. And that helped him a lot.
Right. Now, was he involved in any kind of, was he on the council before?
He has been on the council for 4 years.
He has, okay.
And so, he has some experience, and he's been a vice chair to a committee, so he knows how the process of the committee works. So, it's still a learning curve when you become mayor. And, I served under 4 mayors and watched 4 different mayors go through 4 different learning curves.
Oh, okay.
And so it's interesting, but he'll do fine.
Because I'm pretty stupid when it comes to politics. And it just seems like too much hubbub, and the process just seems too drawn out, and I don't know, I lose interest.
Well, the problem is, people really pay attention to the national politics, the presidential. They really get into it, But the reality of it is, it's the local politics that affect your pocketbook and the things you do on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
And you're right, it doesn't seem to really get people involved. A lot of people say, well, it doesn't make a difference. But if you really sit back and look at things that have happened in Keene over the years, it really does make a difference. But it wasn't only in Keene. I was reading it in Boston, and I don't know what their final tally was, but their voter turnout with 2 hours to go before the polls closed was only 11%. And that's half of what.
I guess that's the beauty of democracy is you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
But if you didn't vote, be quiet for the next year.
Yeah.
Because you didn't even make an effort to change the process. And no more calling talk show radio. Don't write to the paper. You got to be quiet if you didn't vote.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's
and that makes sense.
It does. If you're not going to be if you're not going to fix the process, then don't be part of the problem and just complain.
Right. Now, does a turnout like this, is this any kind of indication on what the presidential primary will get in January?
No, I think that'll be pretty heated.
Do you?
I think people are really going to be paying attention to that. And, you have the incumbent Bush has been there for 8 years on the way out, so it's wide open for both parties.
Right.
So it's going to be a Donnybrook when all things are said and done. It's just going to start heating up now.
And I have no idea who to follow, who to back. I mean,
after the show's over, I'll let you know.
I thought it was funny. My mom called you the other day.
Yeah, that was great. That was
wanted
great.
to know about voting.
She wanted advice. I don't know how well that went.
I mean, she's as naive as I am.
No, that's
when
okay.
It comes to
I appreciated
politics.
the call, and she asked some really good questions.
And I know Cheshire TV does help.
Yeah, people watch.
Get the word out and get people educated. And
absolutely.
I mean, I looked at that Julia Miranda and watched her little interview, and she had some pretty fair ideas.
Yeah, she has some interesting ideas.
So,
a little bit off the mainstream. But the good part of it was she got involved.
Right, and she's so young.
Yeah, she's young. She got involved, and she said what she had to say. And I'll give her credit because she came on with Chris and I and spoke her views. And I didn't agree with them, but the point was she came out and got involved and gave you something to think about. Right. Now I thought about it and I said, okay, I disagree with that. Particular answer that you had, but she gives an answer,
right? Rather
than the 77% that didn't vote. At least she went out there and made people think, and that's good.
Yep. I mean, that's what I try to do on my show. Is I'll take an argument and I'll take it one way or the other to the most extreme I can think of, and say, see.
Well, sometimes it's fun to play devil's advocate. Stretch it out one way, even you might not really think that way,
right?
And make people respond to that.
Oh yeah.
When Mayor Blastos used to be Councilor Blastos, and I served many years when he was Councilor Blastos, he loved playing devil's advocate. I mean, he would argue for an hour that the sky isn't blue, and then after an hour he'd go, okay, it is, let's go on to the next thing. Oh. But he'd make people think. As mayor, he was a little bit different than he was as a councilor. As a councilor, he was a riot.
I mean, that's why I chose to do the segment that I was doing, the old Mike Blastos.
Oh, the old Mike Blastos, yeah.
And some of those, he was
right off the wall sometimes. But to his credit, he served a lot of time and he made people think. Right. And that's what you need to do. Because if you're not making people think, if you're not commenting, how do you get change? Right. And it's like, looking at the election results here, we talked about that. 4 out of the 5 wards ran unopposed. They just basically put their $2 in, put your name on the dotted line, and you're a city councilor.
Jeez, I should have tried that.
Yeah. And the only one that was opposed was where Julie ran against Kendall Lane.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only ward that was opposed. So I give her credit for stepping up.
Yeah.
More people need to step up.
Exactly.
But it is what it is,
And it's over. New mayor, new city council. Now, they started
January 1st.
Okay, it's January 1st.
So the council now finishes up, tries to get all their log jams out of the way, and you try to get as much done as you can before the next council and mayor comes in, so you don't burden them with too much of a backlog.
Right.
So
hopefully, we're going to Alethea and I are going to have ex-mayor Mike Blastos on the show sometime in January. We'll see if we can set it up after he's out of office and find out what he's going to do with his time.
Chris and I will have Mayor-elect Prejean on a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow.
He'll be coming on. We'll ask him some questions and what he's planning on to do.
Now, who's your guest tomorrow night?
We have Chris Coates is out chasing soccer balls again tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So Mitch Greenwell is going to come on with me tomorrow night. And Jim Duffy, who's just got reelected to city council, is going to come on. And he's into a lot of the green technologies and things like that. So we're going to have him on talking about what his viewpoint is for a lot of the technologies for Keene. and alternative fuel sources that are becoming popular. The mayor's assigned them to a lot of committees that have to do with that. So we're going to have them come on and update the citizens of where things are going as we head into the next year.
Nice. Yeah, and I mean, alternative fuels, gas just top $3.
Can you believe it?
And I guess
and if you remember, and I don't know if you remember this, when we went into Iraq, when President Bush said that when we get Saddam Hussein out of there and we get the government somewhat settled down, oil will drop to $20 a barrel. Well, it just hit 100.
Yeah.
I think he blew it.
Yeah, or it's real close to 100 if it hasn't yet.
It's right around $100 a barrel.
Unbelievable.
Well, some people in Texas making some money, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's making some money.
Somebody's making some money.
And then you hear
We're not seeing
every quarter it's mobile, with the
record
$20 billion profits,
Yeah.
And
then the CEO leaves with a golden parachute and takes his couple $100 million with him.
yeah, they haven't sent any to Cheshire TV either.
You notice that?
Yeah.
I think we're going to make a couple
None of
phone
the oil
calls.
companies have.
No.
I don't know. The other big news on top of the election was TD Bank North on Court Street was robbed again.
I tell you, they're probably getting a little bit tired of that.
And another walk away.
Yeah. Just, I guess what these young people just figuring now, they're just going to go up and ask for withdrawal, but they don't have an account there.
Yeah. And this guy had no mask, no.
I saw the picture in the paper. His face was pretty clear. They have to know who it is.
It looks like, yeah.
They
looks
have
like
to know
they
who
should
that
have
one
some
is.
clue.
Yeah.
My question is, when you walk into banks these days, you don't see guards like you used to.
Right.
It's all been taken over by cameras.
Yeah.
And my idea, and I cashed my check up at Court Street actually yesterday, and I told the lady behind the counter, I said, I've got the solution to your problem. You mount guns under the counter so the teller just has to push a button.
Yeah.
And I think that would solve it.
That would be interesting anyhow. I think what I would do is just right as you come up there and they stand there, you have a little button with a trap door. It's like
trap doors would work too.
This is a robbery. See ya.
Down into a pit with bungee stakes at the bottom or something.
Just sitting down there and a couple of snakes or something,
Yeah.
We ought to get together. We can do a little joint venture.
I want to scold the Sentinel though.
Go ahead.
Because the article in the paper on the day after the robbery, the very last paragraph, the Sentinel talked about how most bank robberies are never solved and how easy it is to rob a bank. And you don't tell people that.
More banks need to rob, right?
The media was all over Geraldo Rivera for drawing the little maps in the sand, but we're broadcasting, oh my God, our submarine bases aren't secure and this and that, broadcasting over the television.
Yeah.
And speaking of television and the war and stuff, I heard a fact that you're not going to believe.
Okay.
Public access station in Baghdad gets 7%.
Seriously?
Can you believe that?
It's depressing around here now. That Time Warner?
Can you believe that? I'm not sure if it's Time Warner or who.
Jeez.
But maybe Al Jazeera.
Yeah, could
But
be.
apparently they're pumping a lot of money into the anti-American speech over there. I don't know.
Jeez, maybe they can send us a couple of bucks. By talking about that with Cheshire TV, I actually had lunch with the city manager today, and just specifically asked him, how we doing, and he couldn't go into details, but what he did say, things look good.
Did you pay?
Huh?
Did you pay?
Yeah, I'm going to cut a check to Cheshire TV. I owe Lee $100. I told him that I would contribute. Mitch Greenwald.
No, did you pay for lunch?
Of course not. No, I had to pay.
Randy.
I actually had to pay for my own because it's government. So he paid for his own. I paid for mine.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise it'd be.
It would have looked like a bribe. I get it.
Yeah, even it's like a $6.99 lunch.
Okay.
That if he pays for it, it looks So no, that's.
You should have went to the high school. I went to the high school today. Chicken Parmesan, huge plate for $4.
Jeez.
Yeah,
you know all the places to go, don't you?
Lee shows me.
Is that right? Well, Lee's on a budget,
Yeah.
80 hours a week, making about $1 an hour. He probably has to go to the high school to eat.
Yeah. I'm hoping.
So things are looking, at this point, it's looking good for Channel 8. It's not a done deal, but I think when everything's settled down, now the talks are becoming positive.
Right.
And everybody realizes something has to be done. So I'm optimistic that it's going to get worked out.
And I'm sure Portland was flooded with phone calls.
Well, I tried to call. They gave you the number to call and leave the voicemail. And every time I called, it said the voicemail's full. The voicemail's full. Yeah. Either it was full or they just unplugged it.
I actually talked to his Keith's secretary one day.
Oh, did you?
And I
Yes, sir.
explained to her who I was, and that I did a show here, and that I'm not actually a subscriber, but I live with Mom, and she subscribes.
That's right.
And I just basically told him, look, I don't want to lose my show.
Yeah. It's like, what am I going to do on Thursday nights? you know?
Yeah.
Well, I said I'm pretty much going to say the same thing. My wife doesn't want me home on Friday night. She's used to me being out of the house.
Yep, it'll be back to Bruce and Andrea's for PlayStation Golf on Thursday nights, I guess.
Those are probably the people that are calling in saying we don't want him back. Keep it alive.
I'm probably the worst one because whether you know this or not, I was actually, when they did Keen Comic,
Yep.
the day after the first Keen Comic aired, Lee got a call telling him to take the long-haired freak off of the air because of my language.
Oh, geez, it shows you what happens to how a year's gone by. Now you're mainstream.
Yeah, now now
Some of the
I'm
other
like
shows
down
have come
here.
on, and now you're just the mainstream guy.
And it's not as fun.
It's like, geez, I'm not edgy anymore.
I
What
used to
happened?
be the worst one on Channel 8, and now...
Yeah, now you're the mellow guy.
Yeah, what can I say?
Oh well, it happens.
And it happened when I brought Alethea on.
Yeah.
She kind of keeps me on
a mellow.
keeps me from going off too bad.
She come on your show quite often.
I'm hoping to make her. She was supposed to be the permanent co-host.
Permanent co-host.
But with school and
Yeah.
and of course family business.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
especially that type of business. It's not 9 to 5, as
no,
you know.
No, it's not. And she's always getting called in, and
Yeah.
it's a tight family business. And,
Yeah, it is.
And they all pitch in, and
Yeah, they do. That's one thing
So-
about that when you go down there, and we're talking about Athens, they crank the hours.
oh yeah, Yep.
You talk about them putting in all nights, weekends, holidays. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then they do. They're not afraid to. It's
And
like
Pumpkin
it's
Fest.
like do as I do, and they do. I mean,
Right.
they're not afraid to do any of the dirty work.
I mean
Pumpkin
that was
Fest, yeah.
I advanced to head driver in a month.
Yeah.
Because I went in there, I worked hard.
You put
did
your
my
head down and
job.
work like a bull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, Jimmy and Chris like that.
Isn't it amazing when you work hard what happens sometimes?
And Jimmy hates my hair. Not Jimmy, Chris.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh well.
He keeps telling me I need a haircut, I should go see his wife, and
Yeah.
You know,
Just like back when we went in the military.
yeah.
Get a haircut.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We're both Navy guys.
Navy guys, and you and Greg are both submariners,
Yep. And you were on a target.
and I was on the target. Mike and Bruce are both Air Force guys.
Yep. Yep.
They got
Got
carpeted
a lot of
rooms
veterans in
and
this
all
place.
that. Yeah.
This place is dominated by veterans.
And actually, Andrea, who was homesick, Andrea was in the Navy.
Oh really?
Yep.
Lee Perkins was in the
Yeah, and Lee was
Lee
in the
was
Air
Air Force.
Force. Yeah, we got
Got the veterans covered here. Geez,
Veterans.
Veterans Day, Ralph, take the day off.
Tarzan. Tarzan's going to call in about 7:30 or so and talk a little bit about what Cheshire TV's done for his life.
I met Tarzan's wife today when I was out to lunch. She came up and introduced herself. So Tarzan can't hide now. I know who he is and what he does.
Exactly.
Be careful.
And he went out to lunch with me actually.
Is that right?
At the high school, yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was nice to get him out of the house and
Good.
so.
Seems like a
it was
nice
lot of
guy.
fun.
I haven't
He's
seems
a
like a great
great
guy.
guy. Yeah. Yeah, just regular person.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yep. And
I've
of
heard
course,
him call into your show. Keep you on your toes.
he's like me with the ADD, and the stuff just spins around in the head and comes out when it comes out, or else it gets lost, So,
Recycles.
but yeah, what else were we gonna do? Actually, it's 20 past. We should probably do crew call
Fire away.
so that we
It's
can get
interesting
that
watching
done.
somebody else do a show. It's kind of relaxing.
Yeah, you
go
didn't
for
get
it.
yelled at too much by
No, I
Bruce
didn't have to
tonight,
set
so
anything up. Just came in, grabbed a cup of water, and this is fun.
I hope you have a blast. Maybe Chris will come on sometime.
Yeah, he probably will.
You think
Absolutely.
he'll take the tie off though?
Yeah, he will. Chris,
All right.
Chris can dress real casual.
Okay.
Oh, he can really dress down. He dresses down more than I do.
I don't like ties on my shirt.
Oh, he'll wear like open-toed slippers or whatever.
I've
during
seen some of
winter.
the pants
Have
he
you
wears.
Seen some of the pants, some of the shoes that he wears
Yeah.
behind. People can't see behind the desk. If you saw what Chris wore behind the desk sometimes, because I look over and go, "What the heck
got
are you
some
wearing?"
crazy
He's
pants.
got some bizarre clothes. He does.
Well, for crew call on camera 1, we've got Greg, as usual, with us. Wow, you look a little red, Greg. Sorry.
Wow.
On camera 3, we got Mike. That's probably the red camera, because see, Mike looks fairly well. And Mike, as usual, with the Patriots.
That's right.
8-0.
9-0.
9-0.
9-0.
9-0, Mike. You missed a game.
9-0. Yep.
You must have slept through a bye week. I was taking a week off.
And in the booth, all lonely and sad is Bruce. Andrea's homesick tonight.
All by my lonesome here
All
tonight.
by your lonesome, but She did give you the NASCAR report, didn't she?
I've got some NASCAR information just to give a couple of updates on who won and where the points are, and a couple of little stories that are going on. So.
And our NASCAR contest is winding down. Somebody's getting real close to a pizza.
We're down to 2 races left, Phoenix and then Homestead. Well, let's see. This past race over at where the heck were we last week? Texas.
We were in Texas, yeah.
We went to Texas last week. The Dickies 500. Jimmie Johnson won it again. We're getting a little tired of his antics on the track. He needs to just blow up early on. Especially since I got Gordon for the money, so I'd rather see him win.
Yeah.
But Johnson finished as a winner, Matt Kenseth in second, Martin Truex, Andrea's guy, finished in third. Real respectable run for him.
Good show for him.
Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman finished out the top 5. But it was a pretty decent race all in all. Not a lot of action, but there was a couple of smashes, couple of crashes, so interesting enough. But right now the points are separated. Jimmie Johnson's in the lead by 30 points over Jeff Gordon. And those two boys are pretty much walking away with everything unless something severe happens. Clint Boyer's 181 points behind right now, and everybody from 4th on down is pretty much out of the mix as far as a chance for the championship, because there's only the 2 races left. But
Right. Oh, well. Next year.
We can blend in some politics with that too, with NASCAR, because as you were talking about Texas Motor Speedway, well, the owner of that just bought Loudon.
Oh, that's right.
And one of the talks is a year after next, New Hampshire might lose one of the races. Now, to NASCAR fans, it's a bummer because you lose a race. But to people that are involved in politics in New Hampshire, you lose about $100 million. And the tax revenue off that is huge, because it's really a week-long event, as you know. People get here and they camp all week. They fill up every hotel, motel, restaurant, bar, for a week.
Yeah, and I didn't even think of that.
The revenue to be lost in that is huge. And you're talking about a state right now, like all states, that are really, towing the line very tight because revenues are down. With the economy being down, people aren't as traveling and spending as much.
Yep.
To lose that kind of income is huge to a state.
Oh, yeah.
And so, believe me, they're talking about that. You're talking NASCAR here, they're talking about it at the governor's office also.
Wow.
That's major. So you can be sure that they're wheeling and dealing with that new owner to keep that race here. But he's from Texas, and I don't trust anybody from Texas at this point.
It's not the owner's choice, though. It's actually NASCAR has.
Right. Well, but you're a multi-million-dollar owner. You have clout.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like the bars had clout
Like
to have the
everything.
race here.
Yep.
And there'll be a lot of heavy-hitting negotiations behind the scene on that one. Wow. Because as much as we want to keep that race here, there's other states that want that race there, so they can have the revenue.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. But NASCAR becomes political in New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah.
It's big money.
Absolutely. Now, Bruton Smith ended up buying the NHIS for $340 million.
Chump change.
Yeah,
Limited.
for a guy like him.
We should have bought it.
Well, he owns about 6 tracks around the country and almost controls half of the schedule right now.
Wow.
Or at
Amazing,
least
huh?
half of the racing schedule takes place at his tracks. So he does have some clout, does carry some weight, but he has promised to spend some money on NHMS. It's New Hampshire Motor Speedway now.
Right. They changed the letter.
Ah.
And plans to do some upgrading there and sinking some money into it, and swears that nothing's going to happen as far as the schedule for a couple of years at least. But like Greg had pointed out, NASCAR has quite a bit of control over how the schedule lays out, but they do take a lot of input from the owners to try and fit everybody in. But
Yeah, but we know what happened the time the last guy from Texas said, "Trust me."
Yeah, that was only 8 years
did
ago.
say he'd like to see the last race of the year transfer over to Vegas, to have the championship be awarded in Vegas.
Yeah, because they need more revenue.
Yeah. As if Vegas needs more revenue. Yeah, they won't even. That's unbelievable. But that's the rich get richer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The other little tidbit of information that I saw today was that Penske has signed Sam Hornish Jr. to drive a 3rd car for Penske. He's going to be driving the number 77 Mobil 1 Dodge car.
Ah.
And what they're going to do to make sure that he gets in the show is they're going to take Kurt Busch's owner's points and transfer those over to the 77. So he's guaranteed in the top 35. He's going to be in the first 5 races next year. And if Kurt Busch, he's going to have to either qualify on time or fall back on one of his championship provisionals, depending on how NASCAR rules it next year. But
See, that whole stuff, it's like the politics of racing. I can't.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's points and this and that, and
Personally,
I
I think
can't keep
that
track of it.
if they want to race in the race, they need to race their way in, and everybody should qualify, and all the time should be counted equally.
like they do down here at Monadnock.
Absolutely. I mean, if
Go
you're
bumper to bumper, fender to fender, and fist to fist.
if you can't qualify, you don't race.
Exactly.
And, you know, the heck with the top 35 don't guarantee nothing.
Right.
You pay your fee and take your chance just like everybody else. But that's about it as far as NASCAR news goes. And we miss Andrea tonight. Hopefully, I don't screw up too much, and
Sure,
everything's
yeah.
going
Yeah.
pretty well so far. So we're going to give it back to you, buddy.
All right, thanks, man.
All right.
What else did I have for tonight? Oh, I heard, now I checked the Sentinel, and I haven't seen anything on TV about it, but last night while I was delivering on the radio, I heard, I don't know what show it was or if it was just news, they were talking about this group called the Gathering of Eagles, which is, from what I understand, a motorcycle group. They're reading every name off the Vietnam War Memorial this week.
That'll be moving.
58,000,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be moving.
And I guess they started yesterday or the day before, and volunteers will read 24 hours a day until Sunday when they finish up. But I'm going to look more into it and have a full story next week.
You know, it's interesting too, and I know that you read a couple of the articles talking about how many of the veterans from Vietnam, are homeless.
I heard that this morning.
And then we're talking about the wall. But as we're doing this, and as we're looking back into the past and the history of the wall and the Vietnam veterans, we're creating a whole new generation of,
and another wall.
veterans. That's going to be another wall. And there's an interesting show on television tonight that they were talking about that a lot of them are coming home traumatized, obviously, from combat and injury. But they're so short-handed with soldiers now. Before they're done with their therapy, they're pushing them back to the front lines before they're done with their therapy because they haven't got the bodies.
It's like Patton coming and slapping the guy and saying, get back out there.
Yeah, and you hear too many people say support our troops. Well, support our troops really means, help them after they've served, not send them back into action. So, as we're talking about the past, we're creating the past as we're doing it. And it seems like we're just repeating history almost verbatim.
And is anything getting better in any of these VA hospitals?
I'm sure they're paying closer attention to it, but I mean, unless they fund them adequately, which they're still not.
Right.
All the money's being spent in Iraq itself rather than in the VA hospitals here.
Unbelievable.
It's sad.
Yeah,
it's
it
sad.
is.
Support our troops means more than standing out with a sign.
Right.
It's behind the scenes stuff. Call your congressman, your senator, your president, and say, hey, take care of the people that serve. Don't just keep, pushing them in like cookie cutters.
And they have forever.
Yes.
And
we're doing it again. That's what I'm saying.
the only time I remember soldiers coming back and actually being like heroes was after the first Gulf War.
Right.
Because it didn't last long enough, and we went in and we just kicked ass, and they came back, and we love you.
Right.
Now we stretch a war out until everybody.
And you
in the
remember
United
after the
States
first Gulf War, there was some questions asked, did we finish the job? In hindsight, didn't.
No.
Got in, got out. And, but, history with wars has a tendency to do that. It's you think what is a win, but sometimes it takes years to find out what really the cost was.
Right.
And I think we're going to find out sorely that history is going to show this didn't go well.
And I like the old man's plan, just to bomb them. Don't send any troops in, just fly the bombers over day and night and just keep dropping bombs on them until they all get so tired they just give up and do what we want.
Of course, the problem is now, of course, we could talk about Iraq forever because it's one of those political issues. But I mean, the problem worldwide is in Iraq. Terrorism is just not in Iraq, and we're just so tied up.
Yep.
We've virtually got the whole army just tied up in Iraq. We should have been in Afghanistan. There's bin Laden sitting in his cave, still laughing at us, just watching us. Just spend thousands and thousands of men.
That whole deal gets me too. I mean, here's a guy on dialysis, so he must be getting dialysis chemicals from somewhere.
Oh, well,
can't they disguise somebody as like a FedEx driver and here's your dialysis chemicals?
Pakistan. Of course, we laugh at Pakistan being a third world country. They have the nuclear bomb. Think about that.
Oh yeah, and that guy just flipped out and put all his people under martial law or whatever, and
arrested everybody that disagreed with him.
Took off his suit, put the uniform on.
Yeah, put the uniform on, has the button. And he has the button.
Yep.
I mean,
that's scarier than Gaddafi.
Yeah. I mean, why we worry about Hussein? I can understand, he was a terrorist, and I understand that. but he didn't have the button. I'm worried. It's like Kim in North Korea. He's got
Oh,
the
yeah.
button.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more worried about the people who have the button than the ones that are just, crazy.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, it's 7:30, and that means if we're ready. I don't know if we're ready. Bruce is working like a devil in there by himself. It's time for Jungle Talk with Tarzan.
Oh yeah, it's a jungle out there, believe me.
How's it going, buddy? What's going on, bud?
Well, how the heck are you and Randy doing tonight?
All right, what do you think so far, man?
Well, I think it was pretty easy to say Randy and Rick instead of Alethea Rick.
Yeah, she looks better.
She looks a lot better, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she
You know.
smells
Well,
nicer,
Randy's looking
too.
pretty slick tonight himself. Well, right off the top, gentlemen, 17 years ago, my first Pumpkin Fest was my last, yes. Circa 2007, I turned on Channel 8, Lee Perkins, Rick Blood, going to town, setting up for 12 hours of coverage of the Pumpkin Fest.
Yeah.
Tracy Perkins and her daughter, they do the parade. Next, Tracy has one of her best interviews, in my own opinion. Then next thing you know, Unfiltered's Rick Blood with his daughter and full crew has an excellent show. And then all of a sudden, the girls are on singing, the cameras are swinging. You guys did a great job. And Andrea, Mike, Bruce, Greg, Rick, you guys all did a great job. And next thing I know, Keen No Spin just kicks butt, walking the crowd, just like Rick did.
Yep.
Randy,
Us
you and
and
Chris-
80,000 of our friends,
Well, Randy, you and Chris changed my feelings towards the both of you. I feel a kinship towards all of you.
I don't know how to take that. But thank you.
Well, you can take it as you like, but
No, I appreciate that. Thank
it's
you.
a good thing. It's a good thing, Randy.
Thank you. No, I appreciate
problem.
that.
And when you and Chris embraced the young ladies that were singing, and you kept the show going live, it just happened to make the whole thing personable to me.
They did
Now,
a great job.
I'm not one to mince words, Randy and Rick.
I've heard
And-
that.
Yeah, and I heard you met my wife today, and I
Yes.
also heard,
Yeah.
and I also know that I've also suffered through my whole life with a certain something that's called Asperger's, and at a first glance, it was also detected as refrigerator mom theory. Okay, when we had ice cold mothers. Well, that wasn't the problem. The problem was there was people like me that was suffering, and I happened to be going on 52, and I happened to be a lucky guy because I was told I would never reach 35. But I'm here today to say that I'm a proud father of 3 girls and 3 boys, and also to say that Channel 8 has broadened my horizons, and if it wasn't for Channel 8, I wouldn't have come out of my own shell. And I chose to call Rick, and I chose to be a respectable caller, and I asked Rick if I could have a 5-minute spot on his show. Excuse me if I'm stuttering because I'm a little nervous because you got a new guest.
Don't worry about me.
Okay, well I guess I won't worry about
There
it.
you go.
And it's been a really hard time for me to get out of my own shell, but thanks to Channel 8, thanks to Rick Blood, thank you to Bruce, Andrea, Greg, Mike, which have all met. I've come down there. I've taken a tour of the station. I'm actually thinking about kicking my own butt, coming down there and learn how to run a camera. But
nice.
That's irrelevant.
Oh, that'd be
the
cool.
thing is, Channel 8 has taken me places where I couldn't go before, and it's not a lie. It's not a joke. I don't make up things just to make up things. I am true about what I say, and I appreciate the fact that you guys are on board. And that includes you too, Randy. Just because you're on Rick's show doesn't mean we don't include you.
Well,
We
I
do
think-
include you, and we do include Chris. And to tell you the truth, I never would have known a darn thing about that stupid fire station if your show hadn't have put a freaking tour of it on, and it really brought my mind to light because I had 3 firefighters in my family, and I know what it's like to go through. I know what these guys go through, and I know it's not an easy job, especially if you have to go to an emergency situation and your brother happens to be one of the accident victims. That can take a very big toll on a family. And what you did with your tour helped me. Well, it didn't get us Bill elected, but 3 of us from my house, we voted for Bill, and we were hoping that maybe Dale will take it to another step and straighten out this fire situation with this firehouse. And if y'all want to speak, I'm losing my voice, and I don't know why, but you know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm sure, you know, even with Dale being mayor, and Dale's a thoughtful guy.
Yep.
We've got a pretty decent city council elected, and you know, I'm going to stay actively involved. I'm not going to shrink away and hide. I'll hold the fire to the feet.
Right.
And it's one of the situations that has to get resolved.
Oh, yeah.
Rapidly.
The fire department, police department.
This can't be hung out much longer. You know,
Safety issues.
We have to deal with this. It's not going to go away.
Exactly.
And then the station's not getting any newer.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Right. And if the viewing public thinks that Rick and I just sit around and drink coffee and tell stupid jokes, they got another thing coming. What we talk about is city issues. We don't just talk about the war. We talk about what goes on in this town. We talk about the fire department. Because it just so happens, Rick has a history in his head about this town that I don't have. Now, if I were to take Rick to Concord, I could give him a history of Concord. That's my town. But I happen to be here now, and I'm happy to be here, as a matter of fact. And, well, I'm just about lost for words. Because I'm really happy that you're on, Randy and Rick.
Well, thank you, Tarzan.
Instead of a blank screen, if you get my drift.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you heard, well, when I did meet your wife today, I was having lunch with the city manager, and it looks like things are progressing positively for Channel 8. So
that's what we want.
Hopefully shortly down the road, everything will be resolved, and everybody can stop yelling at each other, and we can just keep doing our shows.
Yeah.
And hopefully more people will come down and do other shows also.
That would be nice.
You know?
I mean, on one hand, it would be nice. On the other hand,
yeah, we don't lose any more time slots.
Tighter time constraints.
Before you came on, Chris and I had 21 time slots.
I know.
Remember that?
I know.
3 times a week, 7 days a week, we had 21 time slots. But the good news was a lot of shows came on.
Right.
And for those people that complain about some of the shows that are on, come down and produce your own show.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little bit of time, a little bit of dedication, and put your own show on.
Yep.
Even if the show is just complaining about the other shows. You know?
Tarzan's out of here.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Take care, Taz. Thank you.
Oh, come on.
He does all his own music.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's great, too. I mean, when you get a show going like you do, and you know how all of a sudden you're looking at things, what are we going to talk about next? Having a guest like that, come on, is great.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm sure listening to Tarzan, if you want to extend him to keep him going, he will.
Oh, he will. Yeah. But he's also the type, he likes to get on, he likes to say his little spiel and then get off.
Excellent. But it's good that it's good that he's involved. I mean, here you got a person out there, an average person in the community, but paying attention to the issues.
Right.
Knows the issues, and that's great.
Oh, yeah.
We really appreciate that. And the show we did on the fire department came out well. We did one on the jail. Chris and I are talking about doing other shows. Now that Channel 8 looks like it's going to make it, we're going to do a show riding along with the police, our own version of Keen Cops.
When I heard you mention that on Friday when I was in the studio with you, I'll offer my services as a handheld camera operator if you need one.
It'll be interesting, and I want to do some other shows. We're thinking about doing one, and my wife actually talked to me about this coming in the spring about the homeless, going out with the cameras to the ones that want to be on camera, going to all the areas, because people don't realize how many homeless are out there that don't use the shelters.
Oh, right.
That all winter long, stay out, whether it's because of chemical or alcohol dependence.
I can put in touch with her too that runs all the homeless shelters in
Right. I'm familiar with all of them through City Hall.
Oh, yeah.
And just let people know, just like we did at the fire station, just educate.
Yep.
Let people know, because a lot of things, you do your day-to-day routines, and you're doing this. Sometimes you don't realize what's right around the corner.
And of course, Randy wants to do one with David Proper and the historic, Chris wants to with David Proper and the Historic Society
of Keene.
That's great.
So those are the shows that we want to do, but we wanted to make sure that Channel 8 was going to be around. We have a lot of plans for upcoming shows, but of course we couldn't do it if we're off the air. You know.
And your writers haven't gone on strike, right?
No, I'm still here.
Yeah, my writers will never go on strike either.
No.
That's the good thing about community access is there won't be any strikes.
Yeah.
I mean, the directors won't. I mean, the director might walk out if we make him real mad, but I'm sure somebody would jump in his seat and fill in, you know?
Yeah.
It's the
I
way
mean,
it is around
staff,
there.
yeah. You get a lot bigger crew than Chris and I do. Actually, the crew for Chris and I is Chris and I. But
Yeah.
you know, you got a good sized crew here.
I'll come down any Friday if
Jeez,
you want extra people in the studio.
I might have to outbid
you know?
these guys. You know? And say, hey, what are you guys doing on Fridays instead of Thursdays? You know,
You bring the pizza, I'll be there.
that's
Yeah,
all it
I mean,
takes. Damn.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
Yeah, he got us on board just promising us food. He promised to feed us every day, and that was about it.
And he hasn't yet, but you will.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Well, we lost our food sponsor, so that
Yeah.
kind of
I
fell
lost a
on the
restaurant
wayside.
sponsor when the 419 went out of business.
Oh, is that right?
And
Got to find something else
since then, I
now.
haven't found another one.
Uh-oh.
So,
Yeah, they're out there.
yeah.
Well, now that we know that we're going to be here. You know.
Right.
And you know, speaking about that, we probably will have to get a little bit more creative, you know, because we don't know exactly what the contract's going to stay. But I mean, you know, we might have to go out there and pound the pavement a little bit. But we're a non-advertising channel, so it's tough. You can find sponsors,
Right.
but you can't advertise.
Right. And see, people don't realize when you say, you know, if you sponsor the show, yes, I'll say your name at the end of the show when I do my thank yous. I thank my sponsors. Your name will roll in the credits. Your business name will
Right.
roll in the credits. And I mean, technically, that's kind of a form of advertising.
Right. I
'Cause
mean,
it puts
as
the
Lee
name
says,
out there.
Lee told us it's a fine line. You have
Yeah.
to be careful.
Yep.
You know.
I guess there's no calls to action.
Right.
Is what it is.
Right. Just, you know, and whatever that
But-
means. You know.
Whatever that
It's
means.
just deciphering your words
Yeah.
carefully.
Great
you
food
know.
brought to you by the Works.
Exactly. Bingo,
That
like
was
last
great.
week.
That was
they
great.
brought us free food.
Yeah.
That was thoughtful, which also showed that they were watching.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was
And
good.
I have to say, Tarzan mentioned your show on the Pumpkin Fest.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not home every Friday night, but when I get a chance, I pop No Spin on just to
Right.
see what's going on.
Yep.
And the Pumpkin Fest show, I have to say, was one of my favorite episodes
Cool.
because you two seemed a little looser
Oh yeah.
than you usually were.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
last year when we did Pumpkin Fest, you know, the year before, Chris and I did it all day.
Right,
We
yeah.
were toast by the end of that one.
Yeah.
I mean, how many things pumpkin can you say in 12
Chris
hours?
had everything last year planned right down to the second.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when the second came, he's running around trying to find the guests that said they'd
Yeah,
be there.
nobody
and-
shows up. Yeah, nobody shows up when they say they're going to show up. So the whole thing we did this year was all impromptu. We just sat down and just, okay, let's wing it. You know, but yeah, you're pulling people out.
And
of the
last
crowd.
week's show, you two were
yeah, that was
were fairly loose.
Yeah, that show was completely, you know, wing it.
And that's-
you know, we had no setup for last week's show because once again we didn't even know how much longer Channel 8 was going to be around.
Right.
So it was just a matter of getting Lee on, and we just, you know, whatever was said was said. And we wound up going an hour and a half.
It was a great show.
The first show Chris and I did was only a half hour because we had no idea on live TV if we would have enough to talk about.
Yep.
But it's funny as you get babbling. As you know, you can really start cranking. But
Oh,
there's
yeah.
some nights you get about a half an hour in and you run out of material and you're looking around and going,
I've done that at 20 minutes in before.
it's tough.
Oh, man.
It's tough, and there's no
Yeah.
commercial break to rely on.
No.
How do you think we came up with crew call?
There you go.
Crew call was one of those things, and I said, you know, I don't want to be the only one.
Right.
You know, I want
you can put
all
it out
these
there.
guys. And
Really?
Lee was like, you know, you never show what's behind the camera. You
Yeah.
know, during the class.
But yeah, people want to see that though.
Yeah.
And I think people really do.
Brings
Um,
a human
And that's why it's good if we
element
get people to come down here to the studio, because I mean your set, you know, looks a lot brighter and bluer than Chris and I. Ours is, of course, we're working on a new set.
Yep.
But people come in, and I think they're surprised at just how very basic this room is.
Yeah.
How you really
Yeah.
wing it with a couple of lights and a couple of boards.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And if people came in, they'd realize this is not a high-priced studio by any stretch of the imagination.
And the little tiny lights. And
Yeah. And Chris and I, it seems, whenever there's a power failure, it's on our show.
Oh, we
We
had
own the power failure.
we had the
right now.
power go out, what, 7 minutes before a show was supposed to be start. We're tearing through the basement trying to find the circuit breakers.
And going through the basement, you're finding anything, forget it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was
A lot of
nuts.
fun that night. Yeah.
But, I mean, and
No heat.
everything happens. Yeah, we did that. My first 90-minute show when I went to 90 minutes.
That must have been tough.
Came in.
That's a long show.
You did 90 minutes at the Pumpkin Fest.
Yeah, it's a little bit different when you're outdoors winging it and grabbing people. When you're in studio, 90 minutes in studio is long.
Especially when the heat goes out.
Yeah. That too.
50 degrees in here
Oh,
when we
that'd
did
be
that
cold.
episode.
Of course, the opposite of that is during the summer when they said don't use the AC because we might have a power failure.
Yeah.
And all these lights. And
yeah.
Chris and I are in here. You just get to be about 100. And of course, Chris is a little bit more follically challenged than I am. And the water is just beating off his head, And of course, the cameras pick it up too. So it got pretty warm.
Oh, and those were, the summertime was when I was doing the episodes by myself where I was just going off about every little thing that made me mad, and I'd work up a great sweat. And of course, Mike is like, oh, keep going.
Get mad.
God.
Yeah. Get you fired up to talk about more things.
Sorry.
But
hey, you didn't have
the
to fill the
scope,
time, did you?
the scope of the things that we've done here
Right.
since I've been involved, and I just made a small list of them.
Sure, good on
We
it.
did 2 Keen comics, 2 karaoke idols, which were hugely
Successful.
successful.
Right.
We did the Nutcracker. We've done high school band concerts, 2 pumpkin fests, 2 music fests, the Senate debate, the mayoral debate, city council forum,
Yep.
and this one. When this comes this year, Andy, you got to come down and run a camera or something. The Ladies of the Rainbow Drag Show.
Yeah.
Now that sounds a classic.
Oh, what a riot!
When's that one going to be?
I believe they're coming December 7th. I think,
Really?
And they have it at the Moose Lodge.
Uh-huh.
It's a benefit for Susan McNeil and the
Right,
AIDS
yep.
services.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like. I'll have to be at that.
Oh my God, the
No,
first one
I'll
went-
volunteer on a camera.
We set the first time we set up the little control table in the dressing room. And
Both.
I was doing, I think I did audio and graphics, and the boy Wonder directed.
Oh, did he? Nate?
Oh yeah. He was
Oh, yeah. Nate's fairly
at a
conservative.
loss.
I was going to say that probably pushed him to a limit that he's never seen before.
Oh my God, it was funny, and
Yeah.
they'd come over and they'd touch him, oh, you're so cute.
Oh, poor Nate. Yeah. Talk about the most innocent-looking guy.
Oh, yes.
that
Yeah.
must have been a classic.
It was just a riot.
But it's interesting you brought all those things up, and that's in a year.
That's
you know?
in a year.
And I've heard people say, and you hear people say about Channel 8, oh, geez, that particular show I don't like, or Free Minds because they're controversial. And,
The Three Stooges?
yeah. There's things on that people don't like, but and I've said to people, I said, well, think about any channel that you watch,
Right.
any channel. I mean, you virtually find 2 or 3 shows that you like, and you don't watch any of it. I'm thinking about the cable that we have at home. What do you get? 150 channels or
Yeah.
whatever. I probably watch 4.
Yep.
I catch the news, I catch Sports Center, and I have like 2 television shows I watch on Showtime,
Right.
and then Channel 8. And that's it. I mean, they could pretty much do away with the rest of it. And,
Yep. And remember when Showtime used to cost $30 a month?
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's just
Now,
it's
yeah, just-
added in your
yeah.
regular cable.
Right. Just a small fee.
Yep.
And
I can't get it.
no, 28 cents, and we run through all this for 28 cents.
Yeah.
All this arguing for 28 cents.
Yep.
And if Time Warner had just added 28 cents to the bill, nobody would have even noticed. Maybe
Well,
a
I got my
couple
mom,
people.
my mom would have. She's one of them people.
Yeah, well, she's got you living with her. I can see why she's probably a little edgy. She wants to know where every 28 cents
All
is
right,
when you're there.
Yeah,
Yeah, just because you bring home a couple of pizzas, she's still on to you.
Yeah, she is. What else?
Good job.
In high school graduation.
Say what?
We did high school
Oh,
graduation
that's right.
this year.
That's right. Yeah, that was another show that we did. And in talking with Lee, if we can get this funding going, and one thing that I donated when Cheshire TV first got going was the satellite links, so we can
Oh, the
do
microwave,
Right,
yeah.
I donated
Yep.
those to Channel 8, which, by the way, I wanted back if we're out of here, But I'm only kidding.
I came up with the idea that if all us shows get together
Right.
and purchase all this equipment, we can just go from, we'll do No Spin in your living room, and we'll do Unfiltered in my place, and we'll do Tracy's show at her house, and
Yeah. Or we could
go
just
from
sit down in
house
the
to house.
common on the bandstand and sit there and do all the shows.
I thought about that too.
know,
We get our soapboxes.
Watch the cars go by, But I know, like Lee was talking about us, I mean, we still have city council meetings to do live.
Right.
That'll get worked out, hopefully. Local sporting events live. Because, as Tarzan came on and said, some people can't get out as much as others.
Right.
And for having a local community access channel that shows these things, a lot of us take it for granted that if a sporting event happens, or if there's a debate, or if we want to go to city council, we can just go out and do it. But a lot of people don't have that advantage, a lot of people. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we don't see through our peripheral vision that other people out there don't have it as advantageous
Right.
as some of us. they're stuck in the hospitals or the homes.
And
or
I'm
the
sure
senior
there are
centers.
things in Keene that people don't even realize are going on.
The amazing
because
thing
they
is,
don't
and the
get
people
out.
that Chris and I have talked about, as you probably do too, you bump into them in the grocery stores, with the exception of the Sentinel, and of course they hear the radio, this is where they get a lot of their news, or the more the up-depth, behind
Right.
the scenes
And-
stories.
I looked at this today.
Yeah.
$3.25 a week
And
for the Sentinel.
And for a lot of people,
I'm sure they don't read all the articles.
Right. And let's face it, all they really need is Channel 8 anyhow. We'll tell them the truth. If
We'll
we
tell
don't
them
say
what's
it, they
going
don't
on.
need it,
I mean, I don't know if you and Chris will actually tell them the truth, but on Unfiltered, on Unfiltered, I'll tell them the truth. I don't care. I mean, you don't want anybody to hate you guys
Oh,
because you're in the public eye all the time. But I don't
no,
care if people
Chris
hate
and
me.
Chris and I always, we do a good job at telling the truth. We might not put an edge, maybe as edgy as you do, on the truth, but we tell the truth. And there's been a couple shows in a row where I've ticked some people off.
Oh yeah,
But I mean, it is what it is. And if you tick people off, then that's good because you hit a nerve.
Right.
It's like, okay, I said something and it bothered you. Why? Did we
Exactly.
lie? No. Did we tell the truth? Yes. Then why are you bothered by it?
Right.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
The truth always hurts.
So,
if it's the real truth.
yeah, exactly. So I try to tell the truth with a little bit of a smile.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, if we say it, and if we make a mistake, we come back the next week and say we made a mistake. But for the most part, we research before we say it.
Yeah.
So-
That's one thing I heard about my show. Somebody said, the facts you give are pretty
Are
dead
facts.
on.
Your
And I
facts
said,
are
well,
facts.
yeah, I try and get the facts right. Of course, when I start adding my opinion, that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah, then you got to do a disclaimer.
Yeah.
You
and my opinions are. Some of my opinions are mine. Some of them aren't even mine.
And some of them just come out matter of factly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm liable to take something a comedian said and go, hey,
Well, still,
on top of being funny,
Yeah, but one thing
that's a
we-
really good point.
One thing we have over Letterman and Leno right now, we've got a show and they don't.
That's right.
So
Repeat.
they're-
And
they're
actually, I
sitting
heard
home-
today, Saturday Night Live this week will be
Yep.
repeat.
They're sitting home, and I heard Fox, the Fox channel, which is a popular show, 24.
Yep.
Which it's one of those shows I haven't watched, but people die by that show.
Oh, yeah.
They canceled it for the year. And
Yep, there were a couple
I'll tell you,
other
people
ones.
get really crazy when their shows get canceled.
Desperate Housewives
The
is
taping of that
scheduled
stuff.
to finish.
Right. So you know what? People are going to be watching a lot of Channel 8 here pretty quick. I hope the writers stay on strike. Watch a little bit of local stuff.
I guess the Directors Guild is up for contract renegotiations too, so they may jump on the bandwagon with. And I guess it's all over income from revenues
over-
from
Yeah,
internet
it's all
and
over-
DVDs.
It's all over money, isn't it?
So, yeah.
The rich get richer, and they see there's another dime out there, and damn it, they want it.
Oh man. And-
It's like A-Rod. Makes 300 million, wants 500 million. It's
Right.
like how many millions? And I guess the contract he's talking about now is like 750 million. You're talking $750 million to hit a friggin' ball.
Yep.
You
And
know?
did you see tonight they announced that the Red Sox just signed Mike Lowell for 3 years?
did they?
I didn't hear they had signed
Oh,
him.
they offered.
Yeah,
They made him. They made him an offer.
They said the offer looks
Right.
good, and he wanted 4, but I guess they took the money and put it all in 3, so it looks good.
Yeah, the
You know,
number I heard, I think, was 13.
And so
to
he's like, "Hey,
15.
cool! I can make the same money in 3 years instead of 4. That's a good deal."
I think the number I heard was 13 to 15 million a year.
Yeah, it's just about 13 to 15 million more than we make a year.
I mean,
Good thing we make big bucks here
to
at Channel
play
8.
baseball.
I know.
You know?
All those times that I said, "Nah, I don't want to play baseball. I want to go do something else." I should have just kept on playing.
I delivered a pizza one night to one house, and the lady opened the door and she goes, "You're from that TV show. How come you're delivering pizza?"
Yeah, my money ran out. That Tim Lee Perkins. He's a tightwad.
The residuals didn't come through.
No. Yeah, we looked for profit sharing this week, and I'm back to work.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
You're like, geez. But some people think that they think it's a lot bigger than what it is, and
Yep.
and it ain't.
And I know, I mean,
Nope.
the lives. I mean,
It's all volunteer.
Andrea has taken this show as her very own baby, and she would be devastated.
Yeah.
If I wanted to just up and say, I don't want to do Unfiltered anymore, she'd hang me probably.
The last Unfiltered would be you be hanging from the rafters in front of a camera.
That's it.
You threatened that before, and she threatened to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Pressure's on.
She's all into it. And when I
can't
first
get together.
started, I had one of my first emails I ever got was from a girl named Lisa. And she said her and her mom watched the show, and Lisa's about my age, and her mom is, I believe, in her 60s. They both watched the show. Lisa actually came down and volunteered and answered phones for me for a while. And she's got some health problems and things, so, and when we stopped the phone calls, but to this day, every single week, I get an email from Lisa
Cool.
saying what a great show, and they look forward to watching it every week, and I mean,
And we forget
it's
about, I
people
forget about
like
you know,
that.
Marlboro and Swansea, but we've got a few people that call me frequently from Marlboro. Because
Yep.
we forget, we got
yeah,
that
the
into
smaller towns,
We
yeah.
got the smaller towns, Marlboro and Swansea. And, we get some good following out there from Marlboro, Swansea.
Yeah,
So
and
I try to throw in plugs for Marlboro, Swansea every now and then. So hello, Marlboro, and hello, Swansea. I have to say hello to tomorrow night also.
I've actually found out that I had some viewers in Swansea that,
Yeah?
it's
You got a following? Got a cult
a
following?
little probably cult following.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps, oh, you're famous. And it's like, I'm not famous. I'm a guy with a big mouth who doesn't care what people think
Well,
about
isn't
him,
that funny,
know?
though? Sometimes people with the big mouths are the ones that are famous.
And I would much rather be doing stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
but you know as well as I do, there's no place in Keene to develop that.
You'll make as much doing that as you're doing this.
Yeah.
Zero from
I
zero
mean,
is
there's
zero.
no comedy clubs,
Right.
so
Yeah.
what do you do?
Yep. Yeah, you just do this every Thursday.
Although it seems that every Friday and Saturday night I drive by Railroad Square, you've got a line to
Yep.
beat the band outside your place.
Yeah, yep, things are good, especially with, when college comes back and puts more people in the seats.
Yep.
Of course, they're the ones that have the income, they don't have to work Friday mornings.
Right. Now, do you have live entertainment?
DJs.
DJs. Oh, okay.
So-
I've still.
I'm
never been in-
I'm a moldy oldie. I like the old classic rock bands, so I'm just dating myself there. But
Yeah.
that's not the thing now with the kids now.
You
It's
play
all-
like the techno and
They
and that kind
yeah,
of
whatever.
stuff, dance music.
Whatever. I just go home. I hire a young crew and let them do it.
I'm gonna have to come in some night after work.
Yeah,
and check it
for
out.
the most part, I go check myself in a little bit early now. But we have a decent crew. And,
Or maybe I'll come in during the day for a drink or
Yeah,
something.
just
When it's
stop
quiet.
in and say hi. Yeah, it's a little quieter in the afternoon.
I
because-
don't want to get hung up in any fights or anything.
Nah, we're pretty mellow, despite some of the articles the Sentinel puts in us about us. It's
And I mean, it's
mellow.
not just the railroad. It's every single bar, and I mean, every bar owner must go through the same thing.
Well, New Hampshire's very strict. Very strict compared to most states.
30.
They don't give you much
down-
leeway to hang yourself with.
We're down to 30 seconds.
How's that for a
Did
fast
you
show,
like
huh?
that? Man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I had a good time.
Thank you for coming.
And,
I was
you know,
surprised.
You have me come back? Don't be
agreed.
surprised. I'll come on anytime.
I'm going to get your wife on sometime.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
No?
She's a little shyer than I am.
Is she?
Yeah, I'm the
Nah,
mouth.
that's
Behind the
too bad.
scenes, she's tough, but
I want to
anyhow.
thank the crew. Greg, Mike, Bruce. Thank Cheshire TV. Thank our sponsors, Mom's Tattoo, Gemini Screen Print. Thank everybody for watching. Till next week.
Thank you.
Peace.
That's good. Thanks.
Thanks, Reddy. That was great,
What am I
man.
fast? That's what it is. I look at my watch. I'm like, it's fast. Tell me about that.
Dude, that was excellent, man. That was really good.
Thank you.
That was great.
You have somebody to talk to, just engaging in banter, it'll play a lot faster.
Yeah, that's.
We sat there some nights, and you're like, okay, especially like if Chris isn't on, I get a